You know that feeling, maybe late at night, you're staring at your own reflection after a day of sort of switching between different versions of yourself, online, offline, and you just suddenly ask, who am I, really?
Mhm.
It's a question that seems to hit home for a lot of us now, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah.
So today, we're diving deep into that very idea. We're looking at this concept, samanayat. You could translate it loosely as sincerity, maybe authenticity.
Right.
But we're also going deeper into something called Ikhlas. And what we found in the material suggests that being genuinely ourselves has actually become, well, the greatest luxury in today's world.
And this isn't just, feel-good advice. We're actually going on a bit of a journey here. We'll pull insights from ancient wisdom right through to our modern digital lives,
Okay.
all focused on understanding and maybe more importantly, how to cultivate that real inner integrity. You might find some of the perspectives quite surprising.
Okay, let's jump right in then. One of the first things that stood out from the material is this observation that living now, in 2025, it can feel like you're constantly getting invited to a costume party.
Such a good analogy, isn't it? You wake up, you put on your, let's say, LinkedIn costume.
Right, the leader-spirited, results-oriented one.
Exactly. Then maybe later, you switch to the Instagram costume. Suddenly you need to be very cool, very fit, And then by evening, maybe it's the obedient child costume for the family WhatsApp chat.
It sounds exhausting just listing them.
It is exhausting.
Right.
And you're left wondering, okay, who's the actual me under all these layers?
And it's interesting how this connects back to, well, Shakespeare. The world is a stage.
Right. But when he wrote that, there were no selfie sticks.
No influencers, definitely no digital image consultants.
Exactly. The digital age has just cranked up the volume on that performance aspect, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, the pressure is huge. Everyone feels like they must shine all the time. But the material really asks, okay, at what cost? And often, it seems the cost is losing sincerity.
Yeah, and you see this imitation, this kind of fake element everywhere in the modern market, as the source puts it.
You really do.
Like those fake smiling faces all over social media.
Or the Photoshop-corrected realities that just subtly change how we see things.
Yeah, and maybe the worst is that artificial sincerity. You know those phrases? They sound okay, but they just feel hollow.
Totally. Like a 100% factory made is how the source describes them. I wish you well, I'm proud of you. But there's no real warmth behind them sometimes.
It's a real challenge to find genuine connection and all that. The material even jokes it's hard to find sincerity in like yogurt these days.
Yeah, let alone in relationships. And that artificiality, that constant performance, well, that's precisely why true sincerity feels so difficult.
So why is this so difficult? What makes it feel risky?
Well, it is risky, isn't it? Think about it. When you're really, truly sincere, sometimes you might look funny, or maybe you look fragile. And there's often that hesitation, that thought, did I share too much? Have I opened up too much?
Right, vulnerability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True sincerity, the texts say, means no filter, no staged pose, no pre-planned emotional flow. It's not like those ads where someone has an emotional moment but snaps right back when the camera is off. Modern sincerity sometimes feels like those big discount signs. You get closer, and the discount isn't actually that big.
That's a great image, the big discount sign. It really captures that feeling of potential disappointment or, yeah, risk.
Sure.
So if sincerity feels risky, what about this deeper concept you mentioned, Ikhlas?
Yes, Ikhlas. This is presented as a golden virtue. It's a really profound form of sincerity. Maybe purity of intention is a good way to think about it.
Okay.
The definition given is essentially pure, clear, unsullied, clean. It's called the twin of Sidq, which means truthfulness, and it covers loyalty, honesty, integrity.
So really deep qualities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And crucially, it means being one inside and out. Authentic, original, unique. Not artificial, not an imitation. The core of it is having a single intention, single purpose, single goal, single aim.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
To help us understand that better, there's a fascinating ancient story in the material, right? About a wise man in a tree.
Yes, exactly. This wise man, sometimes called a sheik, he sees people worshiping a particular tree. And he thinks, this isn't right. So he grabs his axe, determined to cut it down.
Okay, so he sets out with purpose.
Right. Pure intention, initially. But as he gets there, this old man appears. And the old man offers him gold if he just leaves the tree alone.
Ah, a temptation.
A big one. The wise man refuses at first, but, well, the gold is tempting. Eventually, he accepts it. And for a while, the gold keeps showing up every day.
But then...
But then, one day, the gold just stops.
So what does he do?
He thinks, okay, the gold stopped, now I'll finish what I started.
Yeah.
He picks up his axe again, goes back to the tree, and nothing. He can't cut it down. The same man who was so determined before now finds his strength is just gone. He's powerless against the tree.
That's strange. Why?
Well, here's the twist. The material reveals the old man was actually Satan.
Whoa.
Yeah, and Satan explains it to him. Look, the first time you came, you had Ikhlas. Your intention was pure, you were fighting for truth. But when you took the gold, he says, you lost your Ikhlas, you lost your strength. Because now, his real goal was not the cutting of the tree, but the stopping of the gold.
Wow. That really hits home. The intention changed everything.
Exactly. It underlines that powerful idea. If sincerity is gone, even your strongest axe is useless. But if honesty is in place, even your word can move mountains.
Okay, that story makes the power and the fragility of Ikhlas very clear. So the big question then is, how do we actually protect that kind of sincerity? With social media, the business world, this whole self-marketing frenzy, how do we navigate that storm?
It's a huge question. And the answer given is, well, it sounds simple but not easy. We have to be brave.
Brave? How so?
Brave enough to risk being disliked. Brave enough to accept our wrinkles and our flaws. Literally, maybe use fewer filters. Brave enough not to exaggerate successes or hide mistakes completely. There's a lovely analogy in there. Beautiful portraits are beautiful because the brushstrokes look real. And people are similar. If the brushstrokes are visible, that person is real. It's about showing up as we are.
So being brave enough to be real, flaws and all. But what about embodying Ikhlas more deeply? What does that look like day to day?
Well, people who truly embody Ikhlas have some distinct qualities according to the texts. First, they absolutely do not do what they are forbidden from, just as much as they focus on doing what they're responsible for.
Okay, a strong sense of boundaries and duty.
Right, and they operate with 100% good intention. There are no ulterior motives, no hidden agendas. It's that inner-outer essence word, heart-mind integrity we talked about. Their inside and out are one.
That resonates with the earlier definition.
It does. There's a quote included from Hakkı Hulusi Effendi. A human is one who, when their inside is turned out, has nothing to be ashamed of.
That's quite a standard.
It is. And people with Ikhlas, they never forget what you want, especially if the ultimate goal is pleasing the one and only. They're also the complete opposite of showing off, which is called riya.
So genuine humility too.
Exactly. The material describes Ikhlas as the DNA of good qualities. It's the motor power of the soul, heart, and will. It's fundamental.
That's really powerful. And I remember the texts also used some beautiful analogies from nature.
They did, yes. They're very illuminating. Think about pure rainwater. It's described as colorless, odorless, tasteless. That's its Ikhlas, its purity. Yet it's the source of all life. It's called tahur, pure purifying, and mubarak.
Simple yet essential.
Precisely. Or consider pure milk. It's formed miraculously between blood and feces in an animal's body, yet it comes out pure white. That teaches Ikhlas too, this incredible purity emerging from complex, even unclean origins. The lesson from nature seems to be, sincerity doesn't shout, it shows. It just is.
That's beautiful.
And just briefly, it's also worth noting what the material calls the enemies of Ikhlas.
Okay, what are they?
Things like greed, arrogance, pride, envy, and competition. These aren't just negative traits. They actively erode Ikhlas.
Yeah.
They pull us away from that core integrity.
So they directly undermine this power.
Yes. As Bediüzzaman said, Nursi is quoted, "You should know all your power lies in Ikhlas and truth." It's that foundational.
So wrapping this up, it really seems that while being truly ourselves, being sincere might be hard. It might lead to being, ostracized sometimes, or maybe misunderstood as too open. It really is the greatest luxury we can have. Yeah. And maybe our greatest source of strength, too.
I think that's right. And there's a final thought from the material that really sticks with you. When you don't act as yourself, the biggest critic awaits when you look in the mirror before bed.
What?
Because, everyone believes what is seen from the outside, but only you endure what you know from within. That inner reality check is inescapable.
That's powerful. It brings it right back to that personal reflection. So the core message, really, from everything we've looked at is, well, image is a good thing. But without sincerity, it remains like an empty celebration.
An empty celebration.
And life deserves much more than a celebration. It deserves that depth, that reality.
Well said.
So maybe the final piece of advice is simple. Stay sincere and use filters only on Instagram.